After 30 races of 15 rounds, the 14th season, well, 4 currently under the former Sprint 2 Championship banner, now comes to a close. An extraordinary season filled with all the highs and all the lows. This season has been nothing short of headline-inducing all season long, and a celebration to the end of the season finally all comes ahead. Host the season finale for the first time since 2018. Yas Marina was going to host now the final round of the championship, and now it comes in grand fashion. Both championships have officially been sealed in Interlagos last time round, as Sandeep Singh and Potentia Grand Prix have clinched the championship. But it's not completely over. The more notable ones in the fight is Magnus Okenhack and Mihail Tuimala in a battle for P3, with both on the same points, as you can see. And then also looking at the constructors, you've also got Hunter Birch in a Matt's battle with RDS Racing and Team RNG in P4 battle. So that's what we're looking forward to here over into Yas Marina. Toby isn't going to be here, so I'm taking over his place for one final time this season. And join alongside me, Fabian Jungbluth with the commentary directing, and also Alex Foulkes, the very colourful second commentator here for the FS2. How are you?
Did anyone get any of that? that might have just been the fastest you've ever talked in here. Fair enough. Qualifying's underway, but we've caught it just in time to view the first couple of laps. View the first laps happening. We've just skipped the outlap, really, which is something we haven't managed to do for a long time, including the entire season. We've always had to watch someone on an outlap, especially with Remco. He doesn't like to change the scene from whoever's doing an outlap to whoever's going fastest. But here we go. Filip Savinski was fastest in practice, setting a purple sector according to that lower third. As we know, not reliable at all, but he is the man to beat going into qualifying here. In this 2010-inspired Priority 1 Williams livery that they are running especially for this final race, I have been told by Craig Patterson. And we've got quite a few laps here before the end of the FS2 season. 30 laps of racing, 15 laps each race each time. So it should be quite action-packed as we are starting to reach the end of some of our first qualifying laps. Filip Savinski, according to that timing tower and according to RaceView, fastest in Sector 1, beaten only by a couple of attempts in Sector 2 by Joe Gillette. But Filip Savinski has a massive edge in Sector 1, 2 attempts faster than the next fastest driver in Sector 1. So he is quite racy here and looking good to take pole. And I'm assuming across the line he will take provisional pole. 143.0 according to the game.
Flat? Wait, it's flat.
To RaceView,
it's 43. It's
999.
Yeah.
That's
What?
rounded up to 143 1000, but hasn't rounded up to 144.0.
Our Factor 2.
Our Factor, hello?
Hello? Why is Ben Skinner a second faster? Why is everyone up look to be even slower? That's so weird. I've never seen that in my... I've only started commentating R Factor 2 just this year, so my career, so that doesn't actually say much, but... oh my... Okay. Goodness me. D'Amico Scarpelli, meanwhile, in the Potentia Grand Prix, he's, well, they haven't changed the livery, heading over to the final ones, unlike the other ones, as you mentioned before. Priority 1 won the few to down a special livery. Another similar one for that, Hunter Birch as well, we're getting confirmation, is also hosting their special livery. But Scarpelli has done very, very well coming over Interlagos. Bit unlucky coming through race 2, but managed to suffice it, rescue it. And this time he will be the primary driver for Potentia, I believe, this time around. So a good chance to get some good points for his records here. A bit off from the second sector, but it's only about 100ths off here, Alex.
Yeah, and Scarpelli, like you said, has had a good couple of races. Unlucky in Interlagos, but maybe we'll have a change of luck this time as Ben Skinner does displace Filip Savinski at the top of the timing board for now. But here comes Domenico Scarpelli around the final 2 corners and across the line. 15th. Can he improve? He does improve, but only to 9th. Not able to challenge that pole time for now. As the GPVWC Academy cars, 2nd and 3rd. Tiago Mello takes 2nd position. Luis Mesa takes third, and that might just be the highest we've seen those two cars all season, but managing to bring themselves into contention potentially for pole here. And what a sight that would be to see an Academy car on that first position in qualifying, on that first pole position at the start of race 1. What a sight that would be, Amir.
I mean, absolutely incredible. Mello and Mesa being new debutants as well from the previous round in Interlagos, come here well and approved by Mello, Clark from the manager. As we look over to Mala, he's in a championship battle on his own with Ockenhag. Ockenhag just out from the top 10, so he's already got him beat a little bit, actually quicker than his championship contender in Junio Lopez that had his championship battle come to close with his absence in Interlagos. So a good chance for Tumalek. Purple for the second sector once again. Could be looking at new pole sitter here if he could just string over through 13 and 14. And again, a very precise line really needed here. Take as much as the wide for 14 as you can. Just don't touch the wall or don't spin off like similar to 2021 we've seen in real life. Final corner through 16. A bit of an off camber, not quite a 90-degree corner. But for the Finnish driver, it's not going to be enough. It'll only just be third. And it'll only be enough to split the Academy cars apart.
Yeah, but 7 minutes or 8 minutes left in qualifying. There's plenty going on here. Victor Manat, according to that timing screen, has set a purple first sector. It's not correct though, but he is looking a bit better across the line from 14th. Does improve to 12th, but it seems where the pole sitters and our front runners have the edge is in that final sector, a bit more of a technical section than the rest of the circuits. And so they seem to be getting most of their advantage there. I mean, if you look at Victor Manat's time, it was 3 tenths slower than what Philip Savinsky was able to do in practice. We've still got a couple of attempts at the top of the timing screen to go. Philip Savinsky set a 143.7 in practice. We're only at 143.8 right now, so there's still plenty of time to be found, and still plenty of time left in the session for drivers to improve their lap and still challenge for that pole position. But here's Kurt Roachov, and he's not far down in that first and second sector. Now, with the final sector left to navigate, 2 long right-handers into another right-hander, 2 lefts, 2 rights, and let's see what he can do here to try and improve his position. Currently P13, 6 tenths down on the pole time through the final sector. 2 more corners for Kurt Roachov into that final corner now. And let's see as he crosses the line on the run to the line if he can improve that 13th position. And he does. He moves himself up to 8th, improving by 2.5 tenths there, just getting ahead of Junio Lopez. But our battlers for that next position, Junio Lopez, in fact, while I'm talking, takes pole position with a 143.659, but Magnus Ockenhaug is a bit further behind than Mikael Tuamala in their battle for, it was 4th, if I remember correctly.
Third, I believe it was third. Actually, see there with Marcus Ockenhag, the first time we're going to have a look at a Hunter Birch car. So we're seeing Exilian donning a special livery as well, going for a bit of a gold palette, especially since Kurt Roachov is having his last race in Formula Sprint 2 upon for his absence next season. And this one is going to don for the Lotus gold leaf livery, as said by Edwin Hunter himself. But Magnus Ockenhag through the final corner, and it just seems to be like a lot of the drivers are really struggling through that final sector because they seem to get the first 2 sectors kind of spot on. But this is the first time we've seen, I think, Magnus struggle in both the second and third sector. So it really does go to show that consistency really matters a lot here in Yes Marina. You really need to get perfect throughout all the sectors in order to clinch pole position. Exactly what we've seen here from Junio.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that that second sector really only consists of a hairpin, the chicane, and 2 long straights. So it's quite easy to stay competitive in that second sector, but the first and final sectors, the more technical sections of the circuit, is where most drivers will really find their edge and really find their time. As Philip Savinsky, purple in sector 1 and sector 2, not the greatest of exits out of the final corner, and that has sent him back enough to not be able to improve on that time around. Here's Ben Skinner, a tenth faster in Sector 2 across the line, also unable to improve and struggling in that final sector. I think at certain points, drivers are struggling to find the right line. As Thiago Melo, according to that lower third, it's not correct. It never is correct. But a purple first sector and presumably a very competitive second sector here as well. According to that, a 10.5 improvement on his best second sector, which would put him just on the heels of Junior Lopez and contesting for pole position as we head into the final section of the track under the hotel bridge and through that double left-hander into the double right-hander. Let's see what Thiago Melo for GPVWC Academy can do across the line. Can he take pole position? Can we see an Academy car on pole? No, he struggled quite significantly in that final sector, and that seems to be the story for a lot of drivers. Yeah, most of which going yellow in that final sector. And I'd be interested to know where they're really struggling. If I would have to guess, it's this double left-hander right here that is really difficult to get right with that really fast entry and then this really tight exit. What are your thoughts on that, Amir?
10, 11, 12, I think, is the corner that we've mentioned, really might sort of caught a lot of people off. You can see people almost on the verge of sliding, but then also if you push in your tires as much as you possibly can through the first and second sector, it's almost like you're sacrificing a bit of that grip towards the end when you really need it most through 10 to 12, I think. And 15 to 16, I think, is also kind of a similar endeavor. But 13 and 14, I think, are just about fine because they're, well, effectively near 90-degree left-handers anyways, side by side. So I don't think that would cause much of a problem. As we've seen here with Remco de Zeeuw, he's actually improved all across the board. But the big question is, though, Alex, it's just that third sector that's catching for a lot of people out. So we will get to see with the Dutchman, to see how he's struggling. He's not utilized as much of the track, but I think that's kind of a bit of the point, to try and center it so you can maximize your corner entries through the rest of the sectors here.
I think of a lot of it as well is to simplify the braking into turn 12, because of course you're coming in that double right-hander, but you want your braking to be in a straight line. Remco across the line does improve to 15th from 19th, but I think a lot of the problem, Amir, is through that double right-hander, the quick double right-hander of 10 and 11, you don't really have the time to get out wide before you start braking in a straight line, and that seems to be tripping up a lot of drivers, and I think that just sacrifices their entire flow through that entire section from 12 to 16, and they're just really struggling, which is why I think we're seeing massive deficits in that final sector, 6/10, 7/10 from certain drivers. But here comes David de Vries down in 8th position, only 0.02 of a second behind in that second sector. Let's see, can he finally conquer that final sector that so many drivers are struggling with here? And through the corner of 12, he's got a nice entry into 13 and 14, but he's sliding out of 14, and that will throw away the run entirely. If he's fueled for one more lap, he will be able to go for one more. 27 seconds left in qualifying, and David de Vries will be doing exactly that as he's relegated, I believe, by Christian Glansetter, who just took 8th position.
Joe Gillette, I think, got third as well. Yeah, so he's about 1/10 off from provisional pole position as qualifying slowly ticks down. And that is the final qualifying session of Formula Sprint 2 at an end. So we're going to see here a massive titanic battle for the final pole position here, especially for race 1. We consider the maximum amount of points is going to benefit to Mala a lot, with a lot of the positions at hand as well. And I think a lot of people as well in that intense fights for position. But Philip Zawinski, the man that clinched pole position first at the start of the session, now sees himself back in 7th, but he's got a chance to push that BMW Williams-esque Priority 1 esports car back onto that pole position, back onto the front row. But again, the second and final sector is just what's going to be the big difference maker here. Going over through turn 9 now, we've seen a lot of people being a bit reluctant here. Need to take it in for full force, which the Polish driver absolutely does. And that from the lower third seems to be 5,000th improvement here. Just the final sector left to go, Alex.
Yeah, and let's see. Everyone's been struggling here. Filip Sabinski, only 4 more corners between him and a potential pole here. And what a way to end out the season that would be. But through 14, he seems to be struggling. But through the final 2 corners, let's see. Can Filip Sabinski finally retake that place that he's had at the start of the session? Across the line from 7th, he takes 6th. And while he does improve, that's not quite where he wants to be. And that seems to be just about everyone we have that can try and take that position from Junior Lopez. So, for the final time this season, Junior Lopez takes pole position here. Matusz Pishkan improves to 12th for Potentia. And the 2 Potentias, 12th and 13th. What a qualifying session that was. All the drivers that we expected to be at the front seems to have fallen a little bit shy. And Junior Lopez reigning out on top with Ben Skinner not too far behind him.
What an incredible qualifying session to close off the end of the season. Junior Lopez, a phenomenal pole position, and was almost under third frame multiple times. But again, that final sector, he did it better than everyone else, and a well-deserved pole position indeed for the Scuderia Clap K car. Ben Skinner into second place, another good string of results from the Englishman, doing really well and qualified in these recent races, with Joe Gillette just behind, also in a very good performance to put Hunter Birch simulation up into third. Thiago Melo, upon his former Sprint 2 debut, fantastic fourth from the Brazilian. We'll have Michael Tuma to have with company for in 5th. Filip Sawinski, the best that he can do is just an improvement up to 6th. And we'll have Luis Mesa, the Spaniard, another great debut for him as well in 7th. So a GPVWC Academy 4-7, you can absolutely sense the happiness that Mel Clont must have there. Christian Glamsitter for 8th, makes it an Orbit Motorsports 2-8 with Kurt Rocha for his retirement. A top 10 finish for himself in 9th, with David De Vries looking to improve, but all the best that he can do though is 10th. And then outside from the top 10 we have Domenico Scarpelli just about managed to improve in the dying stages to get himself up to 11th, ahead of Magnus Ockenhag, with Tumala many places ahead. It looking quite troublesome for the Norwegian, but again, he'll just have race 1 and race 2 to keep an eye on for that. Mateusz Pushkin in replacement for Sandeep Singh up into 13th, with Victor Bernat, the Spaniard, over in 14th. Then Justin Vardas missing completes for the point scoring positions for race 1 over in 15th. And outside of that, we have Remke Desio in 16th for Blue Horns, with Tice Youngster in 17th, Craig Patterson in 18th for Exilian, with Leila Petralia, a very good performance for Venus Motorsports as she's in 19th, with Bobby Vakanov completes her through in 20th. And then outside of that, we have 21st, which is Juho Soppinen in the Priority 1 Esports, with Adonis Papernopoulos, 22nd for GS Racing. Andrea Canalia for 23rd for Scuderia Ferranera, and Jonas Lepet in 24th for Hub Performance Engineering. Mark Salagi, Team R&G for 25th for Samuel Slavev and Rafael Arim, both makes VO, 26th and 27th respectively, with Mihail Vitsinevich in ST Racing in 28th, with Eric Brenna 29th, and Jericho Touchville completes through to a 30-car grid for today's race. I think we're missing 2 drivers.
Well, that's what 30 would indicate. Yeah, 2 cars not there. I believe that's one of the ST Racing cars, and Chris Williamson will probably be quick to point out what the other one is. Is it a VMS Sun Edits by any chance? I don't.
RGS, I think?
No, Reading Game definitely has both of their drivers.
Do they?
And they were next to qualifying, I think. Yeah, Antonis Paparanopoulos and Eric Brenner.
Oh, right. Yeah. You're right. ST Racing is definitely one of them. Oh yeah, Venus. There's only one Venus as well. So.
Oh well.
Okay, so those
Venus and NSP missing.
Yeah, so those are the 2 missing cars that are not going to be here for the final race of the season. Since the season's come to a close, I have no idea what to talk about.
That's usually how a warm-up goes. What is there to talk about in the last race of the season? We have got a championship battle. We've mentioned that in our introduction, we'll call it. Briefly mentioned, I must add. It was hard. Nothing about that introduction was long-winded, though. That was very, very, very brief. A lot of information packed into a small area there.
I'm trying to think. We've mentioned about the hotel bridge into the final sector. Of course, that's been the bane of existence for many drivers, for partially the reason why they couldn't improve, because, you know, that hotel building is just so stupid looking that I'm probably amazed by it. But I'm curious to see, because we've got nothing else to do during the warm-up, how much will it cost to stay there?
Oh, I've looked at this a couple of years ago. It was £1,100 during the race weekend. A night, I might add. And then off season, it was about £150. They're not even that. Now,
Okay.
I looked in 2020. If we look now, it's probably about £10,000 a night.
Oh my goodness me. Okay, so if I want to... Okay, so let's say we want to watch the Super League, the final race of the season. Oh goodness me. 6th of November. That will cost about 1,175. Is that... What's that?
Do you want help identifying a currency?
Oh, it's... I'm in the UK. Why are you giving me the prices in Emirati dirham?
Because it's in the Emirates. I mean, yeah, that will work out to about £110.
I know my name's Amir, but come on. Okay, so it's about it's about £241, or for the European folk,
about 300
that's about
euro.
€275, or for anyone that's living in the United States, that is $319, and for Scott Flack, that will be 485 Australian dollars. Actually, we'll do Maxime Bullo and Perseus Merriam just for good measure. Canadian dollar.
Probably like 1,000. Worthless.
Actually, it's cheaper. It's 445 Canadian dollars. Oh my goodness me. Okay, so we've confirmed that the W Hotel is a complete rip-off.
That's not that bad. I mean,
The next question I have, Yas Marina has the Ferrari theme park just behind the hairpin, and that was part of the reason why they had initially they had the chicane leading up to the hairpin, because they couldn't bear to witness any of the F1 cars going full force into the barriers and ending up at the back of a roller coaster. But I'm curious, in GPVWC world, what current team do you think would have their own theme park?
It would have to be it'd be Top. It would absolutely be Top Esports. They would have their own theme park.
Do you think it'll just be called Topland, or?
I feel like that name could be misinterpreted somehow.
Top Park? To Park? To Park? No?
Maybe. TOP? Just TOP?
TOP? What will that I don't know what TOP stands for, to be honest.
I don't know. Top Park. Yeah, I guess we'll do Top Park.
It sounds like a theme park out of Sheffield.
Did you know that Ferrari World, one of the rides, actually, it's got a hole in the middle of it. It's got this weird sort of pointy design, 5-spoke pointy design. In the center there's a hole. It's a bit like a wheel of a car. There's a hole, and a bit of a roller coaster pops out the top. So you get a nice panoramic view for all of a good couple of seconds before you fall back down the roller coaster.
That sounds like torture.
It does. You know when you go up an observation tower? No, what are those rides called? That just go up and down, up and down, up and down. And you see them in amusement parks everywhere. you get dropped from the top. That's essentially all it was. There's not really much to see in Abu Dhabi, it must be said. It's a very, very low area. Until you get to Dubai, then it gets very, very tall, very fast.
And then it's just desert.
And it's just
complete
desert
out. Oh
and
yeah,
poverty.
I hate to break the news to you, everyone, but I'm afraid I was really excited for the weather forecast, but I've got terrible news. It's dry. They haven't done any cloud seeding today, so unfortunately we can't expect rain. So
No
I'm
way.
very sorry for
There's no rain in a desert? What? Incredible.
I was so looking forward to this race. I was like, oh yes, I get to commentate my first wet. No, that's an absolute lie. I have commentated wet weather races before. My first ever Formula Sprint 2 wet weather race. I think Montreal wasn't wet. I could be wrong, but I was just absolutely devastated. I didn't get to commentate on like a monsoon of a race. If that makes sense, like massive waterfalls.
That's very, insensitive, Amir. With the hurricane that's going on, we shouldn't be wishing for bad weather, Amir. That's terrible of you.
Oh right, the hurricane. Oh, I completely forgot. I forgot that was happening. Oh no. Oh god. You make a great point. Oh dear.
I've just criminalized you for something you didn't know about. So, Fabian, you absolute legend, by the way. I didn't even notice you'd done this. If you look at the top of your screens, we've got the best graphic that's ever been produced by GPVWC, or whoever we get the graphic package from. As you can see, we've loved this all season. We didn't get it last season because Vincent was a bit too harsh. He didn't want it shown to the public. But we've got our amazing Fabian here, who is more than happy to put up with mine and Toby's nonsense, and we get it put up every single race.
Oh no. Oh god.
It's the best graphic ever. If you didn't watch Formula 1 in the early 2010s, you won't understand why it's so good. In fact, I think this is worse than the one they used in F1 because it's even slower than the one they used in F1. And it shows less people.
No, it's worse because it's up at the top, and in 2010 they used it down the bottom, but then...
That's true. But it was always scrolling in F1, so you could see more people.
But then they also had the timing tower vertically as well. I just did some research, and apparently this graphic was so revolutionary that Motorsport Games, they made this graphic around February 2021, and their stock price was 326 United States dollars. So ever since they released this, it's now gone down to $2.
I think there's a few more poor decisions made by Motorsports Games in there than making this graphic.
No, this graphic was just so revolutionary. It just bankrupted them as Rafael Arib just crashes into the wall, and I think someone's legs has been decapitated by the front wing of that banana. Sorry, car.
It does look a bit like a banana, doesn't it? If you cut off the back, or is that just where it's been bruised? They just, because you know how people make art out of bananas and they just bruise the banana in particular places and it goes black in those places. Maybe that's what
sounds
they did.
That sounds really, really weird and really, really wrong. Why would you bruise a banana on purpose? Have
you not seen people making art out of bananas?
But bananas have feelings, man. Why would you bruise bananas like that?
Well, do they scream when I put them in my mouth?
No, I think they would just cry because they can't really like.
I peel off their skin and then oh my god, this sounds terrible.
This sounds really bad.
I peel off their skin and then eat their head.
Oh god. He's talking about bananas. He's talking about bananas.
Am I?
Or What is this? Oh my god, Toby has every right to not be here. My goodness me. Oh, we got no. We're not going to cancel FS2. Not at all, Fabian. But absolutely big
FS2.
Big thank you over to the people at GPVWC for hosting, not hosting, but for giving us Yas Marina to host for the final track of the FS2 calendar. It is, of course, one of the tracks of all time. I completely rate it as existing. And yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, though, I don't honestly like the improvements that they did to Turn 9 because, like, it's sort of like a bit
wrong.
I don't know how to say
incorrect.
It's not wrong.
That's
it's not incorrect.
Opinion.
It's trying to be something it's not. It's like
That's wrong opinion.
It's like if I walk up tomorrow with a full-fledged beard, I would not fit in it.
Yeah, you're just wrong. That turn on is so much better than the triple chicane into a left-hander. And do you enjoy 90-degree corners? Do you enjoy 90-degree corner, 90-degree corner, 90-degree corner, 90-degree corner? Amir, is that what you are?
Okay.
Are you
Hear me out. Hear me out. Back in 2018, I used to race on keyboard for Formula 1 2018 in multiplayer.
Well, that's why you like 90-degree corners.
And the only reason how I can get close to the controller players was because of tracks like Sochi and Yas Marina. They were my saving grace for my skill issue of not having a controller and not having a race wheel back then. I now have a wheel, I now have a controller, and I despise them now, but I don't care. They were out for me, and I respect Herman Tilke for that.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Unpopular opinion, Sochi is a good track. Anyway, formation lap for the second to last time in FS2 this year. It is coming back next season, unfortunately. The chaos will still be there. But we will go through the grid and tell you what's happened since qualifying. A couple of people have had grid penalties and such. Junio Lopez takes pole with Ben Skinner behind him on the first row. Joe Gillette and Tiago Mello round out third and fourth. Then behind them is Mikael Tuomale in a battle for third in the championship, closely followed by Magnus Ockenhaug, but he's a few places down. Philip Zawinski sixth. Luis Mesa starts seventh, with Christian Glamstetter starting in 8th for Orbit Motorsports. Kurt Rochav 9th. David de Vries starts 10th. Magnus Ockenhaug and Matusz Pishkan on the 6th row. Then on the next row is Victor Bernat and Justin van der Smissen, with Remco de Zero starting 15th and Thijs Jongstra, two Dutchmen 15th and 16th. Craig Patterson then starts 17th with Leila Petraglia, the single Venus Motorsports car, 18th. Bowie Makinov 19th and Juho Sopanen, the Priority 1, starts 20th. Then Domenico Scarpelli with a grid penalty will be starting 21st, ahead of Antonis Paparanopoulos for Reading Game in 22nd. Andrea Shania 23rd and Johannes Latit 24th. Mark Solagi then starts 25th with Samil Slavev behind him 26th. Mihailo Vicentievich 27th and Rafael Arhem starts 28th. And the last two drivers on the grid, Eric Brenner for Reading Game and Yuri Kratochville for Blue Horns Racing round out our 30-car grid. Of course, we're missing one ST Racing car and one Venus Motorsports car heading into the last round, but through the final corner comes Junio Lopez for one last time. Well, 1 second to last time, I should say. And will line up on the right side of the grid in pole position with Ben Skinner on his inside, contesting him for the lead into turn 1 and potentially whatever else may happen as the last two drivers, not the last two drivers, here's Yuri, approaching the grid now through the final corner, warming up those tires and missing his grid slot entirely.
It's okay. Come on, Yuri. Get in. And he slots right back in. So, spew.
Lights! There's 4 of them. There's 5 of them. Now there's none of them. And it's a good launch for Ben Skinner. Quickly alongside Julio Lopez into turn 1. No, he's not. Julio Lopez got an even better launch. Ben Skinner looks down the inside but is unable to make a move. Tuamala advances himself up into 4th. And there's chaos behind. David de Vries is off along with Magnus Ockenhaug battling away with Mateusz Piszkan then. And through turn 3 we go, and one of the Academy cars struggling significantly, and what an avoiding move by Magnus Ockenhaug there to stay out of contact and avoid that, but he doesn't stay out of contact for long, makes contact then with Justin van der Smissen through the hairpin, and onto the straight we go. Ockenhaug having a disastrous start, but not as disastrous as that Academy car that fell down. And here's Junior Lopez overtaken by Ben Skinner into the chicane, and Philip Savinci there was trying to get ahead of Tuamala. There goes David de Vries off at the chicane.
What a hectic start this has been. That was Mello, actually, that dropped all the way back to 23rd. There's yellow flags all around. I think I saw one of the front wings just flying off in the background, though, as we can see with De Vries and Ockenhaug in the battle for P11. And further down behind that is Juho Soppanen trying to go side by side with Ian Kotochva, who's managed to gain up about 10 places in the start, as they're both going to go side by side, heading over through turn 9. It's going to be close. That is Mello going wide once again, but managed to get back onto the racing line, but a bit of a push off, and falling down behind that will be Rafael Reim also in a push off. He seems to be struggling quite a lot. Another of a wiggle there as he approaches the through to the final sector, and it's kind of a disaster for the Brazilian, trying to do his best to regain all composure that he lost in the first 2 sectors. I wonder if he might have a nice steering wheel looks completely fine, but you can definitely tell that he's a bit out of it, really discombobulated and out of rhythm, and he needs to try and way to get back on the track. Remco de Zeeuw on board with Terma, pressuring over to David de Vries, over down to turn 1, looking over to the outside line now. De Vries hugs onto the apex though, hoping to try and keep advantage for it, and he will do so. And De Vries keeps ahead for this in the battle of the Dutchman. That's a spin in the background. Yep, Vitsenevich comes round, and he'll be all the way back into P25. Arim, Petrali, and Scarpelli are all in the pits, so they all must have picked up some damage here.
Yeah, none of them with front wings. And I think Craig Patterson will be in that group as well, although he seems to have had a separate problem. But here comes Philip Savinci then on Mikel Tuamala on the inside. And later breaking into the chicane. Savinci does take that 4th place. And here comes Mateusz Piszkan, who's battled his way up a couple of positions alongside Christian Glancetter through the not-so-DRS zone. And along the straight we go. Mateusz Piszkan tries to take the outside line, but there's Luis Mesa getting involved, and down the inside into turn 9, tries to get ahead of Christian Glancetter, and in fact he does get ahead of Christian Glancetter. What a double overtake by the Academy driver, but now Mateusz Piszkan will be looking to retake some of that position he's just lost. Looks down the inside into turn 12 and almost gets the move done, but around the outside now, he won't be able to hold on to that line. Glancetter keeps 7th for now, but that battle is only going to brew, and there's Victor Manat into the wall, and one of the Hot Performance cars is slow, will get overtaken by Thijs Jongstra, and he's around, in fact, Johannes Lapit struggling. There's a slow car there of Justin van der Smissen without a front wing, tries to go into the pit lane, he can't.
Yeah, so he has to go for the entire lap again with that front wing. I think he really trying to get him through, but with all the traffic around, unfortunately, he just has to go for it around once again. Just hopefully it won't be too much of a tragic backstory for Papanopoulos through up into P15, falling down front. Manos goes around, spins a little bit, but keeps a hold and keeps the car down in one piece. He just drops 2 positions, maybe even 3, as Slavev looks right down to the outside, heading over through the hairpin. Up the head, Salagi makes an overtake onto Juho Soppanen for P16. And a good move indeed to keep him there, as Papanopoulos keeps holding 215 for the time being.
Yeah, and in the background of that shot, we just saw Andreas Shania went round in turn 3. A lot of drivers seem to be getting caught out there. I imagine there's a bump as Mark Solagi comes under pressure out of nowhere as Antonis Papanopoulos is struggling. Solagi on the outside is struggling. He makes contact with Juho Soppanen, but here then is Thiago Mello, and 5 cars into this battle along the straight, barreling towards turn 9. Mello moves out of the slipstream, is unable to make a move, but around the outside, we're potentially looking at a free wide situation here. Mello down the inside, has to avoid the RNG car, and Mark Salai struggling quite a lot as I believe Juho Soppinen down the inside now into turn 12 and does get ahead of Salagi for now. Samil Slavev just sitting back and watching this, now gets in on the action, tries to go down the inside of the Academy car. Not much room there for it as Joe Gillette has got past Junior Lopez at the front in the meantime, sets the fastest lap. But it's been non-stop action from the lights out as Samil Slavev very much struggling on that inside curb. And it's only going to get more intense from here as the battling continues on for 13th. And we've got just a whole lot of cars in this midfield as Justin Van der Smissen does eventually manage to get it into the pit lane.
Oh, that was hectic, and it's still only a lap 4 out of 15, and there's no signs of battles at all. Ending here as Youngstra has a look down the inside of Victor Burnett as Mello goes wide for once again with a good rejoin and will be down all the way in 24th. It's gone a bit from bad to worse from the Brazilian. That's a spin in the back on the head of Mello. I think that might have been Vincent Avich again.
It's possible, but here's Tice Youngstra getting past. And
that's another retirement then for ST Racing, and Craig Patterson makes it 2 retirements here, lap 4 out of 15. So the battle's still not over.
Yeah, and this battle for 13th still bubbling over as Victor Manat looks to get into it. Antonis Paparanopoulos looks to get into it as Paparanopoulos tries the outside line, has to switch back. Victor Manat then replaces him on the outside and tries to go around the outside of Tai Youngstra through turn 9. And it might just happen here as we head into the double right-hander. He still has a little bit of overlap, still is slightly entitled to space. Into turn 12 will have the inside line, but Tai Youngstra leaving just enough room was able to hold on to that position. But if you look into the background, there's Juho Soppinen rejoining this battle and looking to get back in on some of the action and get himself in a points-paying position. You have to remember, 15th is the points cutoff here in FS2, and what an eventful race this has been so far. But Ben Skinner at the front doesn't see much of it. He's almost 1.1 seconds ahead of Joe Gillette in second. He's quite comfortable at the front. He can see it in the mirror, but he is not under much pressure. Junior Lopez, though, will be putting Joe Gillette under some pressure here as we head towards the chicane and along the straight. Junior Lopez in that slipstream will slowly approach the back of that Hunter Birch car, moves to the inside, and later on the brakes is Junior Lopez, does take that second position rather convincingly. Joe Gillette, I think, now biding his time, trying to get into the slipstream here, trying to get past him back into turn 9 and hold on to it for just another lap as this battle will continue to grow Ben Skinner's lead. Here comes Joe Gillette then through turn 9, around the outside, the battle of the two red cars. We thought it would be confusing, but apparently it's not. Junior Lopez holds on to second. What a race. I mean, Amir, just...
Yeah, I thought almost for a minute Gillette was trying to have a look down into Lopez coming through 12, but to no avail. There's another fight between the two red cars. De Vries makes his way round for Ockenhag, going over through 12. There was actually almost sideways. He kept the control in one piece, but it's devastating news for Ockenhag as he's desperate in need of points in his battle with Tumala in the championship, and Remke Jaziu almost looking to pick up the pieces even further, and Ockenhag to truck dive even further, but he managed to defend just about enough to keep holding to P11 though. It's not good news for the Norwegian as well when you especially consider the battle in hand.
Yeah, Ockenhag, he's not even in a perfect position for the reverse grid, of course, holding that fabled 11th position. Maybe we could see at the end of the season potentially a resurgence of the P11 reverse pole for race 2, but it's unlikely. But Ockenhag currently holds that unfortunate position. He will be looking to battle his way further up and be looking in a better position for race 2 if that's his only chance of getting that third position in the championship. We will have a look during the warm-up between the two races how the championship currently looks, but here comes Magnus Ockenhag not able to make a move into the chicane behind David de Vries. De Vries not with the greatest of exits. Ockenhaug has to stay back just a little bit, but he's in good slipstream range then, heading into turn 9. And further ahead, Joe Gillette and Philip Savinsky battling, but here comes Magnus Ockenhaug then for 10th. Around the outside of David de Vries. De Vries with that inside line, able to hold on to that 10th position just a while longer as Ockenhaug tries to get back around the outside. But he's tried it once more, and it won't work this time as David de Vries just holding on a perfect defense here as we head through the hotel section. And in the battle at the front, Joe Gillette, in fact, has been relegated to 4th by Philip Savinsky.
Incredible battle we're witnessing all the way around across the board, just a bit dying down, but that means that it's going to come back into a big crescendo definitely in the later for the races. I think we can see just a bit on how the aggressiveness is kind of playing into effect into the race pace, and especially into those tires. Abu Dhabi is not at all a track that you really want to go side to side with on long periods of time, and a lot of these drivers are feeling the effects of that. You can see with David de Vries 2.7 seconds, the gap between himself and Rutscharv 2.4, the gap between Youngster and Dezeo, and 3 seconds between Soppinen and Bernat. That is the effect of battling for a prolonged period of time, and it's showing its effects here. Seen along with Joe Gillette now as Philip Zawinski with the overtake, eyeing for Junio Lopez next.
Yeah, but he's going to have to work for it. 1.4 seconds between him and the driver currently sat in 2nd position, and he now also has to worry about Joe Gillette behind him in that slipstream, along with Tuamala and the train he's pulling along with him of Luis Mesa and Christian Glamsetter, all within attack distance, all with a chance of catching the podium positions, all with a chance of standing on that podium at the end of these 15 laps. And it will be a fierce battle to the end. Tuamala slowly closing that gap on Joe Gillette, not helped by the micro mistakes Joe Gillette is making. His Soppinen then battling with Paparanopoulos. There's a little bit of a slide by Soppinen. Does lose out temporarily to Paparanopoulos. Looks down the inside. Can't really make a move into 12. We've seen it happen, but it's not the cleanest of places to try and get past. But Juho Soppinen with a slide into the barriers, followed by Mark Solagi, and there's contact furthermore through these 2 corners. He's slower, slows down one of the hot performance racing cars of Bobby Vakinov, makes contact with Bobby Vakinov, and well, it was clean. There's not much wrong with Vakinov's car, but into turn 1, he will be looking to get past that RNG car down the inside. Decides better of it and has Samil Slavev riding that rear diffuser through turn 1, but through the slipstream will head towards a hairpin, a tiny overtaking opportunity for Bobby Vakinov then as we head through turn 3, through turn 4, into the braking zone of the hairpin. He's not close enough to try and get by, but with the slipstream on this long, kilometer-long almost straight, will head towards the chicane, and it's a bit of battling going up ahead with one of the Potentias taking a very inside line. I don't know what he was doing with that, but here comes then Bobby Vakinov down the inside and Juho Soppinen down the inside, and he seems to be better off without battling there. He's down in 17th now. Mark Solagi tries to get in, trying to get past Bobby Vakinov, but is unable to do so. We had a temporary yellow as Domenico Scarpelli, in fact, joins our list of retirees.
Yep, absolutely. Slaggy looking around through the 2 hot performance ones. Under immense pressure though, Lepit makes his round through turn 9, just about fence off from Juho Soppinen, and further back Vakinov just about fence off from Slaggy, but they'll still have their work cut out though over down to turn 12, and they all still keep it together down in one piece. That gap is extending more between Lepit and Paramapoulos the more they have to defend from Soppinen, so there is that to really keep in mind. I think one of the cars that was moving out of the way, the Potentia, that was I think Pushkan, because he's currently being lapped, I believe. Oh dear, my goodness me. That was a bit of a wide there from Soppinen. This will allow for Vakinov to get the pressure that he really does need over down to turn 1. Puts his car in between Soppinen and the corner, and Soppinen has to go wide. and manages to rejoin, but only just about in P18, just about nearly a quarter of a card's width between himself and Vakanov now, and the pressure's not done yet for Vakanov. He has to defend him. Heading over down for turn 5, looking at the inside. Salagi also going to push Vakanov off, and it does so because Vakanov has lost the position back to Sopanen, and then he'll have to worry about the slipstream now without the DRS unavailable. It's going to be going side by side, wheel-to-wheel action here between Sopanen and Vakanov. Going to be super close here. Nearly wheel banging each other. Salagi's going to be able to join the picture, nearly going to go 3 wide. Sopanen looks better of it, and he comes back over, but he'll just about make the overtake onto Vakanov to cement it though. Salagi goes a bit too deep, too much onto the sausage curve, and look at us, absolutely wheel banging stuff here, continuing through on the exit. Mello and Slaviv in the background for P20, also running down the background. Sopanen down from behind, trying to look onto the slipstream to make a move here. It's absolutely a train wreck here, coming all the way down to turn 9. Who's going to come up on top? It's going to be super close, sideways all around, and Slaviv looks down for the inside on Sopanen to get himself into P19, and Salagi and Vakanov, it was Vakanov that went sideways as well to try and get into P17, but couldn't do so. Salagi gets in a bit of a contact act between Mello, and that will allow for Slaviv to get himself into P20.
And Mello with a move from a statued mile away comes off worse. Down in 21st now as Samil Slavev takes that position, but relinquishes himself of it, giving it back to Thiago Mello. But what a battle that was, wheel banging all the way. And while we were watching that, the two leaders did get close. Junior Lopez was encroaching on that gap that Ben Skinner had. But that was along the straight in the slipstream. He's going to be there once more to try and make a move. But looking at this battle going on here, that was spicy. It seems to have calmed down just a little bit. The gaps have grown. Christian Glamstead against past Luis Mesa at the front. But Junior Lopez, half a second behind Ben Skinner. Skinner had a comfortable gap. It's now falling, and it's going to continue to fall as Junior Lopez increasingly brings himself into that slipstream range at the front. They're through turn 9 now, but Junior Lopez close to the rear bumper there of Ben Skinner, and Filip Savinsky not really that far behind. 1.4 seconds sounds like a massive gap, but it's not really that big on the track, as we're still watching Junior Lopez chasing Ben Skinner for the lead. 5 laps to go. Skinner right the way to the wall there, and Lopez 3 tidy overtaking opportunities ahead of him. That battle further back spicing up once more. Mark Salagi gets past Bobby Vakanov, and is currently defending from Bobby Vakanov through turn 12 as that hot performance car right into the fuser of that Team RNG car. He seems to have fallen a bit back now, and not quite in the proximity he was before, as if we look back to the front, that gap 3/10 as they head through the hairpin, and now this is Lopez's first real opportunity to try and take back that lead from Ben Skinner. Ben Skinner knows this. He's taking the defensive route, trying to swerve across the track, trying to break that slipstream. Needs to be careful. You can't do that too much. Lopez won't have an opportunity into the chicane, but he will go for it. And in fact, he's managed to do it. Ben Skinner goes for the switchback around the outside. It's not going to work, but will have the better exit then. Has to forfeit a little bit to avoid going into the back of the Cap Clay car, but will have the slipstream then. Heading towards turn 9. Opposite the outside line, as Junior Lopez will have that advantageous inside line. Ben Skinner has to be confident on the brakes, and in fact, he is able to stay ahead of Junior Lopez, but they're going to stay side by side for the lead through the double right-hander. Ben Skinner looks better. Junior Lopez looks better, but Ben Skinner with the inside into turn 12 is able to hold on to that lead for now, as Lopez with almost a convincing overtaking opportunity then struggles through turn 13 and loses quite a large chunk of time. But with that battle, look at the gap. Filip Savinsky 7/10 behind now, and he was almost a second further back from the leaders. He is also looking at an opportunity here to potentially take the win. Joe Gillette is looking at an opportunity here, now in the slipstream range of Filip Savinsky. And just look at this. battles all around, but none more important than the lead. Maciej Piszkan is about to make a move on David de Vries as well, and we just see the end of it into turn 1. He does make that move for 8th, relinquishing David de Vries of that position, but now 3 cars chasing each other. There's Kurt Rochov getting into the battle. David de Vries looking to make that move back into the hairpin, thinks better of it, takes the slipstream option, heading towards the chicane, but Kurt Rochov now is there in 10th, looking to get that 8th position, and has a bit of a better gap than David de Vries does. We could be looking at a 3-wide situation here. Kurt Rochov with a slipstream of 2 cars. David de Vries with a slipstream of 1 car, opts for the inside line. Maciej Piszkan holds on to that outside 4 now. David de Vries not able to make the move convincingly, and they're side by side. A bit of contact on the exit, but here comes then Kurt Rochov in the slipstream of Maciej Piszkan. We're gonna go 3 wide into turn 9. David de Vries on the outside, Maciej Piszkan in a sandwich of Kurt Rochov and David de Vries. Piszkan seems to have lost the pressure of Kurt Rochov, and in contact. Maciej Piszkan, he's spun round, and he's lucky he hasn't lost more positions. Kurt Rochov then tries to get that move, tries to get that position back from David de Vries, and here is our battler for 3rd in the championship. Magnus Ockenhaug now looking to capitalize on this battle.
Oh, that's absolute intense fight, though. Swing right open, though. Ockenhagen tries to make the move onto Rochov for the final corner. And it comes in between Ockenhagen and Rochov. And Rochov will have to go wide and drops many positions all the way down to P13 and finds himself at the back end of this. But that was absolutely very close. And Ockenhagen under pressure now from Piszkan and from Remco down over for turn 1. And they will both the Potentia and the Hunter Birch go wide over for 1. Remco has to try to look for it, but can't do much. Has to back off. Under pressure from Youngstra down from behind in the Team RNG. For P11 here. It's going to be an intense battle between Youngstra and Remco as it's going to head over down through the hairpin upcoming. Ockenhagen has a look down into Piszkan, but to no avail. Youngstra has a look, but can't much as the Blue Horns defends absolutely brilliantly on exit. Over down to the straight now, using as much slipstream as they can. Ockenhagen is not able to benefit from Piszkan's, but Remco is able to benefit from his. Riding on board with Kurt Rochov, looking into the background to see what's going to happen here. Remco has a look down for the inside, not to no avail. Ockenhagen has a look over, but swings right back. He swings over to the middle, no, tries to apply the pressure to Maciej Piszkan, over for the chicane that they will go side by side on the exit, and Ockenhagen still manages to try and apply the pressure to keep it going side by side. Remco looks at the background, a bit of a contact there between the Potentia and the Hunter Birch, and Remco's able to benefit from this, get himself up into P10. He's looking around for the outside, heading over down for turn 9 upcoming, and Youngstra defense for Kurt Rochov swings around for the outside. Ockenhagen tries to look over to inside of Remco with a bit of the assistance of Mateusz Abitz. Is it going to help? It's still going to go side by side out through turn 10, through coming to 11, and Ockenhagen just too far off the racing line, can't much to benefit from it. They all now going 1 car file throughout the final corner.
Yeah, that battle heated up quite a lot. Magnus Ockenhaug trying to get those positions, crucial positions in the championship. He might not get reverse grid pole, but if he can get more points, that will help him, especially when you consider Mikel Tuomala in 5th will have a good points advantage, but with that reverse grid, it could benefit Magnus Ockenhaug greatly here. He just, if he wants to be secure about it, should finish in the top 10. If he wants to gamble a little bit, he could finish anywhere in 11th to 15th. But I think for Magnus Ockenhaug, the safest bet, the best bet for the championship, is just to try and get these 2 positions ahead of him and try and stay in those 2 positions as we head onto the penultimate lap. 14 out of 15. Ockenhaug in good proximity to Remco de Zio, the Blue Horns racing car, and down the straight they go. All of them peel over to the inside, following Maciej Piszkan in their quest for slipstream. Ockenhaug goes for the outside. There goes the Blue Horns of Remco de Zio for the 9th position, and round he goes. And he has lost a couple of positions now, as he's actually able to hold on a little bit. Tai Sjungstra now battling away with Kurt Rochov. No, not Kurt Rochov. Remco de Zio and Tai Sjungstra battling away. But then here comes Remco around the outside once more. Faster straight line speed than the rest of them. Manages to get that advantage that he lost and is back in position to battle away with the Potentia Matusz Pishkan. Through turn 12 they go. Pishkan not with the greatest of lines through that corner, and seems to be holding them up a little bit. This pack has now bunched up 6 cars, all in close proximity, all with a chance of getting good points, getting a good position for the reverse grid. This line goes all the way from 9th to the edge of the points, as Victor Bernat in 14th will round out this battle, and onto the final lap we go. 6 cars, all competing for the same number of points. What will happen here?
5.7 seconds, the gap between Pushkan and De Vrij as well, so they really aren't effectively in no man's land now. Just all have to fight onto their own as well, with Ben Skinner nowhere ahead of Junio Lopez, means that he's effectively going to win for this race. Remco de Zeeuw onto the exit for turn 5. It's all one car field now here, but now coming over to approaching the second sector onto the straight and the chicane hand. We have seen it influence battles various times before, and in no questions asked, it's going to happen there once again. Remco de Zeeuw looks around for the outside, heading over for turn 6, and Okenhag is able to try and benefit a bit from it, but Pushkan has still going to have to fend from it, and does so brilliantly. But further back, Youngstra makes an overtake onto Okenhag, but Okenhag is the outside line coming over for turn 7, and he'll hold on to P11 just about. Remco with the slipstream against the Potentia, looking over to the outside, coming over for turn 9, and the Polish driver will have the inside coming for it. Further back, you can see Youngstra and Okenhag also have the same thing. A Will Curver driver, Victor Bernat. Remco de Zeeuw looks around for the outside, but can't really do it, can't really put his car into it, and Okenhag just about defense from Youngstra further back, and Rochev and Bernat is the same. Ben Skinner comes across the line, he takes the final race win, one race win of the season, with the fantastic performance, having started in P2 with Junio Lopez over in second, but further behind Mateusz Pishkan just about for the final series of corner in what has been an absolute thrilling battle. Will finish over to 9th, but Youngstra's looking for it. Okenhag uses it, throws into a last minute dive bomb, and gets himself up into P10 at the very last corner. What a race!
Perfectly timed by Okenhag. There goes Mello down the inside, trying to replicate what Okenhag did just a few moments ago, unable to do so. And for Mello, an unfortunate race with that spin on lap 1, costing him many positions, but it's just been absolute cinema the entire race, the entire 15 laps. There was never a break in the action. We could have had a couple of replays. We should have had a couple of replays to know what was going on, but there just simply was not time for it. Ben Skinner with a comprehensive race win, and like I said, Okenhag should be going for that safety position of 10th, and that puts him in a slightly better spot for race 2. He will, of course, in the grid, be ahead of his rival Michael Tuamala. And here are the results then. Ben Skinner takes that win. Junio Lopez behind him. Filip Savinski eventually finds himself on the podium with Joe Gillette 4th, Michael Tuamala 5th, Christian Glamstetter, Lewis Mesa, David de Vrij, Matusz Pishkan, and of course Magnus Okenhag rounding out the top 10. Then comes Remco de Zeeuw. Thijs Jongstra will finish in 12th with Kurt Rochov 13th. Victor Bernat finishes 14th, and the last point scorer Antonis Paparanopoulos 15th, with the 2 Hup Performance cars behind him. You have Johan Zilpit and Bobby Vakinov 16th and 17th. Mark Shalagi 18th, with Thiago Mella trying to go for a move on the last lap 19th. Juho Sopanen rounds out the top 20. The last 10 drivers then are Samil Slavev in 21st, Andrea Shania in 22nd, with Yuri Krashville behind him, 23rd, Eric Brenner, Justin van der Smissen, 24th and 25th, with Rafael Arhem, 26th, and Leila Petraglia, the last of our finishers, with 3 non-finishers of Domenico Scarpelli, Mihailo Vicentievich, and Craig Patterson. And just before we go to a well-needed break, Amir, you can't summarize that race, but just give me one word.
Help.
I think that's our cue to go to break. We'll see you shortly for the warm-up.
I want a very warm welcome back here to race 2 of the Abu Dhabi round here. Again, the final round of what has been 15 exciting races. 30 exciting races, and we've just had our 31st. So we're going to wait for our very final 32nd, and we're just waiting for the news for the reverse grid pole position here today. What an exciting race that was. I was completely... Well, Alex did recommend me to slow down just a little bit, but honestly, that was extremely, extremely exciting. Wouldn't you say, Alex?
Exciting is one word for it. Chaotic. I can't really use the actual word I want to use. I can't say it. But Amir, the important part of the night, the most important part of the night for everyone involved in FS2 for many, many rounds now. The grand reveal is that it's not P11. Unfortunately, as much as I wish it could be, as much as I wish I could go and flip the switch on Chris Williamson's computer, the reverse grid is 12th. It hasn't been 11th for 2 whole seasons, and then another couple of races. How insane is that?
Man, that's
39 races, 39 rounds that it has not been P11 reverse grid pole. Do you understand how statistically improbable that is?
No, I have a degree in economics. I do have a brief understanding for statistics in that measure. That's just is depressing the word?
So there's 6 options, right? So the chance of it not being P11 is 5/6, right? So
yes.
if we raise that to the power of 39, we get 2.24 raised to an exponent of -30, which, for those of you who aren't exactly informed, that's 224 with 30 zeros before it. Just 30 zeros.
My goodness.
This is...
Wow.
My whole point is we are witnessing a statistical anomaly right here. It should not... It cannot be possible. It should not be possible. Like, sure, if you rolled an RNG 39 times with a range of 6, you should get it at least, well, 8 times-ish. 7.5 times. And you get it once. 0 times. It's an anomaly. It's simple as. It's an anomaly. I don't believe it's random. I genuinely believe Chris Williamson understands how much it means to us now and is not bothering to tell us if it actually is 11th. I don't believe him. I'm going to need videos. I'm going to need refereeing on the fact that this button has only been pressed once to not be 11.
It should be like You know the National Lottery when it has like I'm not sure who does coverage, but back then it did it on BBC. They should just have Chris Williamson do a ball shuffle and just says the number is, and then we watch it every single time and it'll just never be 11. It just goes to the point where it becomes it already is a meme, let's be honest, for the fact there's been no 11 in years.
I'm going to put an RNG on my computer. Range of 10 to 15. I get 12. I get 14. I get 11 on the third try. It hasn't happened for 39 races.
But maybe you'll happen lucky 40. It could happen. It could happen.
We're currently on a number divisible by 3. Third time lucky. We've tried that 13 times.
40th start of next season, 40th time lucky. I guarantee you. No, let's be honest. We're not going to get P11 anytime soon.
We've got 11 people watching. Maybe that's a sign. Or it's showing 11 people. I don't believe it's actually 11 people.
Okay, well, you people are to blame then, so we've already concluded that. It's all because because we always have 11 people is the reason why we don't get number 11.
It's because you're watching this. It's your fault. Whoever you are watching this, it's your fault that we don't have an 11th. That's good.
Wise words, Alex. But
Yes.
Actually, the race one has influenced the championship implications a lot. So we know Sandeep has already won. He's not here. Junio Lopez has got a well-deserved second place, so that's pushed him well ahead. In fact, his second place wasn't really under contention. But Tumala has now beaten Magnus. But also, because Ben Skinner had won, he's now back. He's now in a chance to get P3 in the championship now.
Fabian, you should be able to show the championship for us, and it will be magically updated by somebody. Wow, terrible. Menno Clant lied to me. He told me, I will update it.
No, he did.
Lies.
He did. Alex, yeah, it's different because R Factor 2 is just a mumble jumbo coding thingy-majig that requires to refresh the overlays. I've done broadcasting, so don't blame this on Fabian or Menno. I blame it on the Motorsport Games stock because again it's trash now. Do you invest in it?
Blame
To do. I am
Motorsports Racing. We can blame Studio 397, which was absorbed by Motorsports Games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. What else? Who else has changed? Youngster has a chance to. He's about within 10 points of Kurt Rochev for P7. So there's a battle there.
I hate to break it to you. He was within 10 points beforehand.
Okay, so I'm stupid. Okay. RSG Racing and Orbit Motorsports are 1 point adrift for P5. P5. So we were saying there was a chance for a three-way fight. So Hunter Birch seems to be pretty comfortable with it, but RGS could lose out on P5 on the very final round to Orbit if Ben Skinner and his teammate can deliver here on the occasion where it matters most. ST Racing is still quite far of a drift to get. If Remco did really well, to be honest, to get a points for Blue Horns for P13, if he can try and replicate for that again, I think there might be a bit of a chance to overtake ST Racing in the constructors, but he'll need to be like 6th or so, which isn't completely undoable, but that's ironically a potentia there. Mapes VO and Hut Performance Engineering is about 4 points adrift in the team standings, so there's also that there to keep in mind. I think that's all it in terms of notable fights, because Capclay and Excellion are too far ahead now as it stands. So Capclay, I believe, have just simply secured second place, and Excellion has secured third, and Hunter Birch seems, as it stands, cemented for fourth.
Is the race finally starting? Are we there?
Apparently it is. One final time for the 15 laps. It's been an incredible journey for everyone. I'm sure for in the Formula Sprint 2 staff, especially for me for the 3 races that I've covered, including this one. Alex, you've covered through a plethora, magnitude of races throughout this year. Too many from your own words, and I'm sure Fabian behind the scenes has probably seen way too much Formula Sprint 2 action for the broadcast directing that he's done. But yeah, special mentions and a big thanks to you two both, and also to Toby Davis as well for his fantastic lead commentary throughout this year. And also a huge thank you to all of the teams and all the drivers that have been raced here in Formula Sprint 2. All of the 79 drivers that have competed this year, and to all the 15 teams as well. 16 teams and to their managers as well. Big thanks for all of their passion, their drive, and their commitment through this season. Of course, we do have a lot of faces that are going to be returning and a lot of goodbyes. But now, as we wait for the final car, it's the final time ever we're going to kick off for the start of today's race, as P12 is going to be the reverse grid pole position here. Thijs Jongstra holds on to first, with Remco de Ziel makes it an all Dutch front row, with Magnus Ockenhaug up into third with a chance, with Matthias Prishan in fourth for Potentia. Outside that, fifth, we've got David De Vries with Luis Mesa. A very good performance for him. He'll be in sixth for GPVWC Academy. Christian Glamstetter for Orbit in seventh, with Mikhail Tumala over eight for Scuderia Clay. Over for the ninth, it's Joe Gillette for Hunter Birch with Philip Savinsky. Completes over through the top 10. Junio Lopez, the second place in the championship, will start for 11th, with Ben Skinner, the race winner, will be in 12th. 13th, we have Kurt Rochev will follow through with Victor Bernat in 14th. Antonos Paparanopoulos starts where he stayed in race 1 in 15th, with Jonas Lepet just out of the points. He'll be in 16th for Hot Performance. He'll have his teammate behind in Bobby Vakinov in 17th, with Mark Salagi makes it for RNG 118. Thiago Mello couldn't do much to get to points, but he'll start for P19 with Yoho Sopotin over in P20. Samuel Slaviv in Mapes VO in 21st will have Andrei Canale to complete for row 11 in 22nd. Jirko Touchfield for 23rd, with Eric Brenner for Team RGS Racing. Justin van der Smissen holds on to 25th for VMS Sundance Racing, with Rafael Reed for Mapes VO in 26th. Leila Petralia down in 27th will be with Domenico Scarpelli, and we'll have Mihailo Vincentevich 29th, and Craig Patterson completes over through what is going to be the last race of this season.
Well, you had the honours to read the grid for the final time. I suppose.
Would you like to? Do you want to do the honours for the start lights similar to race 1?
Yeah, I think that'd be nice.
It's
just
quite
a good
tearful.
Send off.
It is honestly quite tearful, but you haven't been a regular for nearly the entire season, honestly. Bar, I think it was only just Interlagos, I think, was the only race. Interlagos and Canada was the only races which you haven't done FS2, so really on a full commitment there throughout the entire season. So indeed, I can't wait for us to bear for us one last time. I will take your advice. I will go slow, but doesn't make it all the less emotional here.
Yeah, I'm not crying any tears. I'm... If anything, it's a fortunate thing that it's the last race. We've got one more time to go as the lights come on for the final time this season. And they go off for the final time this season. It's a good start then for what's going on with the grid. Thijs Jongstra gets a good start. By himself, with Remco de Ziel battling away with Magnus Ockenhaug and Mateusz Piszkan, and Piszkan comes out on top of that battle as Magnus Ockenhaug. Oh, one of the Hunter racing cars of Joe Gillette bumping across the curves of Piszkan. Oh, Remco de Ziel struggling as well through the corner, and a lot of drivers are struggling as one of the Mapes Vote cars spins around. It's Samil Slavev, or is that Rafael Arham? I'm not quite sure, but look at this massive group of cars then heading along the straight. We're 3 wide into the chicane in the battle for second. Ockenhaug on the outside with 4 wide further back. There's huge contact onto the entry, and someone's gone round along the straight, and I think someone went round. Someone's round on the outside. Somehow, constant contact. Somehow, we've had no major problems. But further back, that order is constantly shifting.
Dear.
There's Andreas Shania as we cut away from a massive battle. Here's Mateusz Piszkan. Magnus Hockenhauer gets ahead of Remco de Zeeuw. Piszkan in second. Thijs Jungstra nowhere to be seen. 2 seconds as his teammate is spun round. And this massive contact is one of the SFNs. Will retire from this race. And what happened there?
If they're off track, that's good. If they're off track, that's good. But if they're on track, then taken for evasive action for turn 9 when it's completely blind. That is already a plethora of retirements. Bernat, Vakinov, Kanalia, and Kotochvil all retired in the span of just the first lap. David de Vries going over for the final corner, applying pressure into Gresham Glamsitter, and that's going to complete for the first lap of what is going to be 15 here for race 2. But Youngstra is effectively running away with it, with Piszkan over in second and Ockenhack in third. And look at this, a battle for P14. Justin Van Smithson over down for turn 1, and Mello going extremely aggressive in terms of the defense. Going to go 3 wide on the exit. Going approval for turn 2. It's going to be a collision, and that will definitely be a collision. Kurt Rochev goes spinning around, and he'll drop many positions in the process. Mello up into P14. Van der Smithson doesn't have a front wing, and no front wing, and no front wheel either. So that's another retirement we have across the board. Salagi does not have a front wing, and that will allow for one of the RGS racing cars to swing on past of Eric Brenner. Leila Petralia in her quest to jump in to get some points for the first time this season. Into a battle with Slavev going over to the final corner. Nearly going to be going 2 wide up ahead between Lopez and Lepet for P11. And Petralia later for on the brakes against the mates wheel, but she goes a bit too deep, going off and can't quite much to put the challenge into it, and a bit sideways out on exit for turn 7. But that will all it will be. Remco de Zeeuw almost having to look down for the inside onto Ockenhag, but not quite, and Ockenhag applying for the pressure onto Piszkan, but to no avail. De Vries looking to try and make any move between Christian Glamsitter, and we'll have Mesa behind to keep for company in case if that plan fails, then he has to worry about that to defend from P6. And here we go, it's a similar situation to what we've seen in the battle for P9. It was the first race. It's going to be for P2, as this time it's Mateusz once again leading the train.
Yeah, and same story as the end of last race. Piszkan leads the battle, leads the train. Thijs Jungstra at the front sets the fastest time. He's looking quite comfortable with this battle going on behind him. 6 cars all the way from Mateusz Piszkan all the way down to Mikhail Tuamala. The 2 rivals only within 5 positions of one another, and Tuamala in fact is able to potentially get himself in the battle, get himself onto the podium, get himself securely in third in the championship. And it's absolutely possible. Anything can happen. We've already seen that 4 DNFs on lap 3 of this race. But we're on board with David de Vries, watching the battle between Christian Glamsetter and Remco de Zeeuw. Glamsetter on the outside, Remco on the inside. Who will be braver on the brakes? Neither of them. Remco de Zeeuw on the inside still goes into the outside, has to forfeit that position to Glamsetter. But here then comes David de Vries then, as he looks to get in on the action. Remco de Zeeuw in the slipstream, able to get ahead of David de Vries for now. David de Vries takes that advantage of that slipstream, will make it 3 wide into turn 9, thinks better of it, and there goes Luis Mesa to try and get past David de Vries around the outside into turn 9. Potentially could be taking this 6th position from the BMS car, as Remco de Zeeuw still trying to get past Christian Glamsetter. Luis Mesa down the inside, around the outside now. Tries for that 6th position. It looks like he has it, but there's slight contact between him and David de Vries. Tuamala tries to get past David de Vries now.
For the final series of corners, still no positions to be made. Ockenhag did absolutely best to make his move onto Piszkan, but to no avail. Ben Skinner is on a complete charge, hoping to try and make it 2 podiums in a row, trying to repeat his feat from Interlagos, and will have to do that, but he has to overtake Tumala, as he has already overtaken Lopez up into P10. Mello sets the fastest lap, 1:44.5 for the driver, currently sitting in P14, still eyeing for his first Formula Sprint 2 points, but still looking on with Skinner now, as Piszkan still leads on the lay, heading over to the hairpin through turn 5. No moves to be made just yet. Skinner will have a look through down to the inside of the Finnish driver. but it's just not quite there. But we'll at least have for the slipstream. Upon through past the DRS marker, they will go and will effectively just utilize as much of the slipstream as the FS2 machinery ahead can give. And approaching over through to turn 6 and 7. A lot of moves to be made here, and ways to make it stick as well. As you can see, a bit too of battles around going for the background, but Skinner holds on to the inside line, coming over for turn 6, and that is going to be absolutely enough to ensure Skinner gets into 6 as Mello gets himself up into P13, but still under pressure from Lepet upon exit from turn 7. Still going to be going side by side, but Mello has a bit of the better speed on exit and will allow to lead, heading over from turn 9 as Sawinski and Papadopoulos go side by side, heading over for turn 9, but it's still going to stand up with Sawinski ahead of Papadopoulos.
Yeah, Sawinski holding on steadfast to that 11th position for now. Ockenhaug seems to have got past Christian Glamstedt. Remco de Ziel no longer hot on heels of Magnus Ockenhaug, but Magnus Ockenhaug still looking for that second position. Tuamal has fallen down a position. That's perfect for Ockenhaug if he wants any chance of potentially staying ahead in the championship here. 10 laps to go as we cross the line. And Magnus Ockenhaug, just look at that train, in fact. All of these cars well within a second of one another, or, well, the second of the car ahead. And this is a large battle that is constantly going to be brewing up, constantly going to be looming, as these packs unlikely to separate with such a slipstream heavy circuit. And that is pretty much the story of this race so far. Slipstream once more for Magnus Ockenhaug. There's Thijs Jongstra miles ahead of the next driver. Here comes Ockenhaug then, 1 tenth behind, less than a tenth behind. Not as confident on the brakes to try and make a move around the outside, and now looks to make a move into turn 9, goes for the exit out of the chicane into the slipstream of that Potentia car. Matusz Pishkan defending almost perfectly here into turn 9. What will the choice be? Hold that inside line. Ockenhaug to the outside. Has to be significantly more confident on the brakes, but there's not much grip out there, and Ockenhaug nicely demonstrating that for us. Unable to make the move on Matusz Pishkan, but here comes turn 12. We've seen him make a move there before, but he hasn't tried to go for it this time around, and I think that's a wise choice as you look at all the vultures, all the other cars following him behind. 6 cars, all in battle, all waiting to take his place on the podium, and that will absolutely happen. Any mistake at this point would be critical to Magnus Ockenhaug's hopes of getting third in the championship as he continues to chase Matusz Pishkan, who has up until this point not made a wrong footing, not put a foot wrong, I should say. And Pishkan defending perfectly once more. Ockenhaug then into turn 5. Will he be able to make a move, or will he go for the exit and try to make the move into the chicane or turn 9 once more? It's the same story every lap. There's 2 overtaking opportunities that people will actually go for. It's this chicane here, and look how close Ockenhaug is on this tour of the circuit. Opts for the outside line and will hold on to that outside line. Ockenhaug will have to be confident on the brakes as Luis Mesa goes down the inside of Remco de Ziel and will make that move. But here comes Ockenhaug still on the outside. A little bit of contact then with Matusz Pishkan. Slips straight back into the slipstream for turn 9. But we know Pishkan will hold on to that inside line and will hold on to the better grippier part of the track. Ockenhaug again tries to go for the later braking, and in fact has seemed to have managed it a little better this time. Holds on to his overlap with Matusz Pishkan here. There's a bit of contact, not leaving him much space. Into turn 12, there's a bit more contact, but Matusz Pishkan able to hold on as we're watching this from Glamsted's perspective, a front row seat as we go on board with Magnus Ockenhaug through the final sector. It's been a close battle, but not much is getting done. But for Thijs Jongstra, this is perfect. He's got almost a 4-second gap as we cross the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Mateus doing really well to defend, but very on edge. As you see from turn 10 and 11, Okina just with all the wiggles, really unsettled and had no choice but to back off coming for turn 12. And it's unfortunate because that was probably one of the Norwegians' best ever chance to get P2. So instead of just come and have to eventually regroup and try again. But Christian Glamsetter hoping to make it himself to put Norway into the pole, except with him instead of Okkenhag. And Lewis Mesa over down for turn 5. They'll all go. And again, it's just really playing a game of willing whether if you need to make your opportunities and make it stick. Turn 6 and 7 seems to be a good opportunity, but still will be turn 9. But Mateus does know that pretty very well, hence why he's still holding very comfortably second. Okanaga is close to Pushkan as he's ever been, heading over down through turn 6, holding into the inside line. He's going to hold for a better exit, a bit of contact over, but it's not going to be enough with the exit a bit into Mateus' favor. They're going to go wheel to wheel, and further down behind Mesa also makes an overtake, coming over for P4 against Glamsetter, with De Vries able to bet from a little bit. He's going to try and squeeze his way through to make it 3 wide down and further back. And look at this, it's going to be between Okkenhag and Pushkan, as Okkenhag this time with the inside line swings around through turn 9 and gets it done, and surely makes it stick this time with a fantastic overtake. And look at this, David De Vries now under pressure from Glamsetter, now holding on to for P5 as Glamsetter hopes to not lose 2 positions in the span of a sector, and De Vries has got no choice but to concede going over from turn 12, and this time is going to be under pressure from a charging Ben Skinner that has already made an overtake against Tuamala and Remco.
Yeah, I mean, Glamsetter's on a bit of a roll here in 5th, as so is Luis Mesa, who's managed to find himself behind Matusz Pushkan, and Okkenhag again finding himself in that second position, starting to grow the gap already. Pushkan put up a valuable defense potentially here for Thijs Jungstra, and potentially taking Okkenhag's opportunity for a well-needed race win as we head towards the closing stages of this race, the closing half of this race, lap 8, as down the inside goes Christian Glamsetter, and that wasn't the most intelligent of moves. Luis Mesa made contact, bashing the front right wheel of that Orbit car, as the 2 Orbit cars, the 2 mint-colored Orbit cars, look to battle one another. A VMS and 2 Orbits battling away into turn 6. The VMS tries to make a move, unable to do so. Here comes Ben Skinner, our race 1 winner, up in 5th already, and will be looking to advance his positions into the podium. Here comes Tuamala then. Crucial points on the line as they go 3 wide into turn 9. It's just a lot of rhyming. Not Christian Glams. It is Christian Glamsetter on the inside, under pressure by David De Vries, and now under pressure by Tuamala. Through into turn 12. Tuamala looks to the inside line, unable to do so. Glamsetter tries for an inside move down the inside of David De Vries, but is unable to do so as well. There's Junior Lopez getting in on the action. 7 cars right there, and that is Tuamala struggling, and he will fall down a position with his teammate. He makes contact with his teammate. He makes contact with Remco de Zero, and that's quite unfortunate for Tuamala, but he's fortunate to only have lost 1 position, and that's to his teammate, who will be more than willing to help him out in a situation like this, as Mello tries to go for a move on Philip Savinsky, and he doesn't just try, he makes it happen, but loses the rear end on the exit of turn 1, and he'll hold on to 11th for now.
Still a lot of positions to be made through here as Mesa almost does the through. Contact behind. Skinner makes contact with Mesa, and Mesa loses out from P4 and will drop all the way back down, and that will be contact between Mesa and Gillette. Gillette without Paparanopoulos without a front wing at all will unfortunately have to go into the pits after being at P13, and that's devastating news for the Greek driver and also for Mesa as well. He's actually all the way back over to P15 now as the 2 Cup clay cars going side by side, heading over to the corner, and also further back behind that will be Gillette and Mesa going side by side as Tuamala just go over for turn 8 to be ahead of his teammate in Lopez, and it's starting to kind of kick off here. Still up 9 out of 15 as we can look on board with Mello looking around for the outside, approaching for turn 9 against Remco. The man that started over P4 really in struggling to hold on to positions even as comfortable as 9, and Mello looking to get his first top 10 finish that he has been, I think maybe in his eyes, robbed in race 1. Looks over down for the outside line, over for turn 12, but Remco parks his car pretty well and holds it in there, and that means that Mello will have to try and go for again for the next lap.
Ben Skinner, who's had some monstrous pace, able to push himself up now to 4th ahead of David de Vries. Michael Tuamala has recovered that position from his teammate, presumably a little bit of help from Junior Lopez to try and get as many points as possible. Crucial points at this stage now as we cut to Christian Glamsetter on the back of David de Vries. 4 tenths separate himself and the VMS car, and it's not that large of a gap even on track. And into the hairpin and onto the 2 straights. It's a massive opportunity as Glamsetter tries to go for a Verstappen-esque move through turn 5. Thinks better of it though and opts to go for the slipstream option into the chicane. I don't think he's close enough, but he may be close enough heading into turn 9. He looks to the inside, fills the mirrors, won't go for the move, but he is close enough as we progress through turns 7 and 6 and 7.
6 and 7.
Remco makes contact with Mello, and that's just unfortunate racing. That's a common thing that happens through that chicane. There's a bit of contact as Leila Petraglia further back does suffer a loss of position. But I have to point out, we've already lost 5 cars. Mihailo Vicentievich was disqualified. He got a penalty and just did not serve it. But here comes Glamsetter, who was looking for a move on the back of David de Vries, unable to find the opportunity for it as we cut back to the battle between Remco de Zio and Thiago Mello. Mello on the outside through 13 and 14 and is unable to get past Remco de Zio for a couple more corners as Filip Savinski, the podium sitter in race 1, struggling to carve his way back through the pack, and on the back of Thiago Mello will be looking to try and capitalize on any mistake that these 2 drivers ahead of him make. And well, it's just going to be a battle of attrition from here on out. 4 laps to go, 11 out of 15. We're most of the way there. It's almost the end of the season, but it's not the end of the action, Amir.
Absolutely not. Still a lot of positions there to play for. Mello keeping applying the pressure to Remco as much as he possibly can. Not really good on exit compared to Sawinski, and with the slipstream will just make it all the more closer. I doubt any moves to be made yet. That is Lopez up for a head as Skinner under pressure from, actually no, he's trying to make I think that was under pressure for Pushan, but over for 6 and 7, and hopefully trying to make it seal the deal. And 1.7 seconds between himself and Ockenhag. Again, a battle for the standings though. If Ockenhag and Skinner exchange places, then Skinner will finish ahead of Magnus in the end. But Remco just got overtaken by Mello, I believe, for P9, and now he's going to be under pressure from Serwinski, approaching over through turn 9, looking down to the inside, a little bit of contact there, but the Polish driver will happily get that done to push Priority 1 Esports up into P1-0.
P10. Awful. Awful. No, you've just ruined it, Amir. You've ruined the night. Vibrant.
Oh, come on, it's the final race of the season. You can't have a little bit of joke as Mesa almost looks down to the inside coming through the place. I'm being told by Fabian, no. Final corner. Lepit holds on through to P12, but Remco just seems to be struggling a little more to hold on to the positions. It's not quite exactly the same that we've seen back into race 1, especially whenever Matej was also holding himself back up as well. And Luis Mesa, a good chance to make a move over down for turn 5, very, very close to Lepid actually. Is he going to make the move onto the Hunt Performance Engineering car? He is going to have a look for it, and it's going to be very, very close, but Lepid shuts the door on him, and safely at that. And Mesa will eventually have to try with the better exit to make a move down for turn 6 and 7 as David de Vries makes the move onto Mateusz Pushan, coming over for 6, but Pushan will have the inside line and a little bit of contact between each other. They're going to go side by side through 6 and 7, but de Vries, the first one through 7, means that he gets on for the apex and a little bit of a better exit, but Pushan will have tries to look over through to the outside, coming over for turn 9, going to go a little bit side by side, but de Vries, I think, just has a little bit of the better speed, approaching over through 9, and I think a much better gap, and the Dutchman will happily take that and cement himself up into P4 very comfortably with that overtake. As Mateusz continues to fall just a little bit more. Mesa and Dazu exchange places again, and that will be coming over for turn 12. That's pushed de Vries off for the racing track. He rejoins, still just ahead of 4th, but definitely a bit troubled from that incident. Coming over through 14 now, and it still seems to be de Vries holds on very comfortably for now, but I think it must have impacted him just a little bit for that because he's just lost a bit of that momentum to try and catch up to Skinner, and Pushkan will now have to worry about Glamcenter further down behind, who is about 2 tenths behind. That means we can expect to see a move around 6 and 7 through this lap.
Yeah, we're looking potentially at a move through turn 9. Tuamala was within striking range by the end of this lap as well. 2 laps to go on lap 13. Pishkan basically out of the question battling here with never mind David de Vries just struggled through turn 5 and ended up going wide, ended up losing time. And Pishkan back in that fight, but here comes Tuamala into 6 and 7 on the outside of Christian Glamcenter. Later on the brakes, looks for the move. His eyesight's perfectly fine, and he makes that move rather tidily, but not without a fight from Christian Glamcenter, who quickly regains that position on the exit. And as we progress through the lap towards the long left-hander of turn 9, Tuamala goes to the outside. We've seen it's unproven. We've seen it's not working. And Glamcenter, with a significant advantage through that corner, will hold on for 6th position. Just another lap now, unless Tuamala goes for a move in the latter stages, which is incredibly unlikely, as we continue to watch this battle develop, as Pishkan falling back once more from David de Vries. Potentially a bit of contact as Tuamala struggling on the outside there, and losing the rear a little bit, almost clobbering that wall on the outside, and almost completely messing up his chances here. Magnus Ockenhaug in the last couple of laps has been catching Thijs Jongstra at a rather impressive rate, but it's just not enough. It's too late for Magnus Ockenhaug to try and get a move done here. Ben Skidder, however, is well within striking range as we're on the penultimate lap. 9 tenths between himself and Ockenhaug. Could just pip Ockenhaug of this position in the latest moment, the last minute of this race. He's gaining at a rate of 5 tenths a lap, and is well within striking range as we cut to the background of Christian Glamcenter battling away once more with Mateusz Pishkan. Pishkan on the inside, Glamcenter on the outside. Glamcenter gets the inside line now and will finally be able to get past Pishkan, but Pishkan will have that slipstream then heading into turn 9, and along this straight will choose the outside line. Here comes Tuamala though, makes it 3 wide, and 2 on the outside. Tuamala tries to go for the double overtake, doesn't have the grip. Pishkan doesn't have the grip to try and get past Glamcenter, but Tuamala might have the run to try and get past Pishkan here into turn 12. We've seen this move done before. Looks to the inside, unable to do so. Pishkan defending nicely in the middle of the track, and now, there goes Tuamala. Looks to the inside. There was almost contact between himself and the Polish driver. Junior Lopez right on the back of his teammate here, and right in a good spot to try and get past Pishkan. If his teammate, follow his teammate through past Pishkan and get himself another position. But you know, looking at the front, Skinner 7 tenths on the final lap. 7 tenths between himself and second, slowly decreasing. slowly getting closer to taking that second position from Ockenhaug. But these are crucial moments now in this race as we watch Tuomala. Oh, what's happened to Christian Glamsetter? He's just lost it on the straight. He's lost it completely, and he's stopped. He's out of this race, and that has given a free position to Tuomala. It's given a free position to Pishkan as well, and Tuomala now suddenly is way better in the championship because he's right on the back of Mateusz Pishkan. What's happened to Glamsetter? I must know, but I must also know what's going on at the front. Ben Skinner gets past Ockenhaug on the last lap of the lap. Tuomala gets past Pishkan on the last lap of the lap, and what has gone on for Glamsetter to just magically disappear there and just magically just be out of contention for this race? Tuomala is now ahead of Pishkan. Pishkan will be fighting for that position into turn 9, has the outside, is more confident on the brakes. Tuomala struggling a little bit, loses the rear end, and Pishkan is right there, trying to make a move, trying to pick up the mistake, but Thijs Jungstra anytime now will be crossing that line to take a win here as he heads through the final corner. Through turn 16 goes Thijs Jungstra to take the win, the final win of the season in FS2, closely followed by Ben Skinner and then Magnus Ockenhaug. I think something happened to Ockenhaug for him to have lost that much time to Ben Skinner, but Ockenhaug finishes on the podium. But the crucial result is Mikael Tuomala in 5th, will take 3rd in the championship. Just pipping Ockenhaug at the end was Ben Skinner, and I think the pressure got to Ockenhaug. He just wasn't able to hold on, and across the line there's Christian Glamsetter. Just something happened. Did he shift down? Oh, he lost it a little bit here, and oh, that's a disconnect, I think.
Yep. It is. Oh, that really is.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a disconnect if I've ever seen one. And very unfortunate as well, being on the last lap of the race, of the season. In fact, here's Ben Skinner making the overtake on Magnus Ockenhaug. And what an overtake this must have been. Oh, that was a disconnect. Ockenhaug had a disconnect for the ages. And that allowed for Ben Skinner to get through up into P2 in that case. If that must have been. That was coming over through.
Feel very hard done by with that.
Yeah.
Very hard done by.
Yeah, I think if there's any consolidation to Ockenhaug is that second place gives you 17 points and third gives you 15, so the difference is 2. And Ben Skinner needed to outscore Ockenhaug by about 5 to win. And as far as I'm aware, Magnus will, I think, take 3rd in that case. But I think no, because hang on.
No,
I need to do the math.
I think he's 5th.
Tuomala finished 5th.
Yeah,
he finished
will be 4th, and
so Tuomala's 3rd.
Skinner will
Yeah.
be 3rd.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Not the way the championship should have ended, but Thijs Jungstra takes the win for the final time this season, closely followed by Ben Skinner and Magnus Ockenhaug. David de Vries will finish in 4th. Tuomala critically finished in 5th. Mateusz Pishkan after a long battle 6th. Thiago Melo 7th. Junior Lopez 8th. Philip Savinsky 9th. And rounding out the top 10 is Luis Mesa. Then Remco de Zero finished 11th with Johannes Lepit. Behind him, Domenico Scarpelli 13th. Joe Gillette, after a bit of a problematic start to the race, 14th. Kurt Rochard, a double points finish in his last event here, 15th. Christian Glamsetter, then the first outside of the points, 16th, with Craig Patterson closely behind him. Leila Petraglia finishes 18th for Venus, with Samil Slaviv 19th, and Juho Sopanen rounds out the top 20. From there goes Eric Brenner in 21st, Rafael Arham 22nd, Antonis Paparanopoulos after a bit of damage during the race 23rd, Mark Salagi 24th, same with Justin Van der Smissen, quite a lot of damage in the early stages of this race, 25th, the last finisher, and 5 non-finishers, Victor Bernat, Bobby Vakanov, Andrei Shanaya, Jiri Kratichvili all did not finish, with Mihailo Vicentievich getting disqualified for not serving a drive-through penalty for track limits. Well,
that was a really exciting race, and a race to close off through to the end of what has been a fantastic fantastic and dramatic 32 race season, and we are going to wait for the points to slowly tally up, and without the penalty was applied, we will be able to cement through the championship standings. But well, what do you think of that race, Alex? I mean, that was really hectic from qualifying all the way to both races.
Qualifying might have just been warm-ups with the comment spot, but qualifying might have just been the actual meaningful event, the quietest meaningful event that has happened there. And in fact, we've just seen the points come through. Tuomala takes third somehow. Magnus Ockenhaug took fourth, and then Ben Skinner in fifth. So
by 1 point.
1 point separates all these positions, third, fourth, and fifth. But I suppose we should move through to the interviews. Amir, do you want to pick someone?
You can pick for me, if that's
I'll
okay.
pick for you. Yeah. Are you afraid of the interviews, or are you just is your throat going?
No, it's not that I'm afraid for the interviews. Alex, come on. No, it's not that I'm indifferent to them. I just, well, it's a skill I'm looking to improve on. So, but I don't mind who you pick.
Well, we'll get Ben Skinner in here anyway. Ben, hello.
Ben.
That was a set of races, wasn't it? Really?
It was quite interesting, especially the second one.
Quite a good performance in the second one to get second. It probably doesn't feel the same knowing that you got second, not in a battle, but due to a technical issue on Magnus's side.
Yeah,
does it really matter to you, or?
Kind of robbed of that one. I have no idea if I could get him on the straight like the second one. I don't know. Same thing happened with Philip in Brazil. Disconnected in front of me for third. So guess I'm lucky.
It just doesn't feel the same. But race one, quite a dominant victory there. You might have felt the chaos a bit more in race two, but race one, you didn't really have to worry about much, apart from a bit of a battle at the start. But from there, it was smooth sailing. Am I right in saying that?
I wouldn't say it was smooth sailing. I'd Unio pressure him from behind all race. I mean, it's not easy to race against him. It's pretty fast.
I guess that makes sense. Do you feel the pressure often when you've got a car within a second, or when do you start feeling that pressure?
It depends who it is. I'll be honest. If it's someone like Samuel Slavev, I'm not feeling any pressure. But Unio Lopez definitely. It's quite stressful, especially in race one, because I've never finished that high up in any race one ever.
It was quite a strong performance all around. Unfortunately, it was, you couldn't have really done much better. It wasn't enough to take third in the championship, but an altogether strong performance. Ben, are you here next season, or are you going somewhere else?
Staying in FS2 next season. Going for the title.
Ooh.
You're going for the title next season? Well,
I hope so.
Do you feel your performance having been your best this season? Double podium. I don't think we've seen you got a double podium throughout the years. So, do you feel with that momentum that it can translate into a title contention next year?
Oh, definitely. I'm feeling a lot more confident than I was after Nürburgring. That's for sure.
Oh, wait, what happened to the Nürburgring?
We don't talk about that.
yeah, it's best to just leave that round out of FS2 history for this year. Anyway, thank you, Ben. Congratulations on a solid result. Unfortunately, not enough for the championship. Hopefully, we'll see you next year.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we've interviewed Ben Skinner. I would say it would only be fair to get the other side of the story in this major story of Magnus Ockenhaug battling away for third in the championship. So let's bring Magnus in. Magnus?
Yes.
An unfortunate end to race 2, it must be said.
Yeah.
It's a tough one because those 2 points that you lost due to that technical issue were the difference between third in the championship and not having third in the championship. What are your thoughts on that?
A tough pill to swallow for sure, because given last year I was looking forward for redemption time this year to prove my worth and also personal pride. So it's a bit shit, because I also had a lag spike in race 1, and usually when I have a lag spike, it usually happens in one of the races, not both. So like I like when I had it happen in race 1, I thought like, okay, it's not gonna happen in race 2, so then it's that out of the window, and apparently not.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate way to end the championship, but race 1, it seemed like it was a bit of an uphill struggle for you in race 1. Of course, not the best of qualifying performances, but you did well in the race to end up where you did. What are your thoughts on race 1 then? Was there anything
Race
that
one.
was particularly holding you up, or?
It was mostly like I tried to find my rhythm, and then obviously we are racing, but like when people are sending it before the hotel section and then you lose automatically like 2 seconds, then it's like hard to climb back. Like, and also when I could have crossed the door, but then I knew I would have been murdered out of the way if I didn't give space at the apex, so it is what it is, and hopefully I come back stronger next year. I also know I could have started further up for race 1 if I didn't bottle the last corner.
Are you coming back next season? A title?
Yeah,
Push,
or
maybe?
at least maybe not that far, but at least try and improve on 2 P4s in a row now. So I said to myself, if I got P3 this year, I will aim for P2 next year or better. But I guess I have to aim for the P3 next year as well.
Well, aim for the stars, I say, Magnus. Aim for the championship, and I suppose it might be disappointing if you don't get it, but if you get a little bit higher, third or second, you've still achieved your overall goal of improving. So, of course, you're here. Do you know who you're racing for next season?
It's a new entry. You will figure out on GPV day. I will not be attending there, but when we know which team will be on the grid or not, then you will see. It's a new entry, so if it doesn't get accepted, I do have a plan B in hand, and I will reveal that after GPV day.
Well, exciting. Amir, any questions for Magnus?
I mean, it's. I know it's a bit unfortunate you didn't come through to manage to get a fourth in the championship, but I am curious. Looking over from the start of the season, did you ever imagine within the performance that you had in the second half of the season, you would be as high up as you were?
To be fair, if you asked me before Monza, then I thought it would be lying, because it all turned around at Monza, and then I went on like a good streak of good results. And now it's a bit, I guess, it's a sour pill to swallow, because like I can now look back on if on multiple specific scenarios happened during the season. If that didn't happen, I would have gotten that 1 more point required, but oh well.
Well, Magnus, thanks for your time. Hopefully we'll see you next year in FS2 with wherever you end up, because I'm sure you will find yourself a nice place in FS2.
I'm pretty sure we will speak again at Australia if that's round 1 next year. I'm pretty sure we will be speaking by then. So
we'll see. Anyway, thank you, Magnus. It's an unfortunate end to the season, but it's still better than what you thought you would. So yeah, see you next year.
Yeah, see you.
Have you got it in you to do one more? Have you got it in you to sit through one more? Amir?
I can sit for as many as we need, to be honest.
To be fair, I don't really see many people that were performing at the top in that list of potential interviewees. We'll talk to Thijs Jungstra, our race 2 winner, in fact. Hello, Thijs. See you there.
Hello.
Well, race 2 victory. How does it feel?
Well, It feels really good knowing it's the last race for RNG in a total because RNG is stopping after the season. So yeah, feels pretty good to win that last race of the season.
Yeah, and it was quite safe the entire race. I felt for you. It felt like you got an early lead and never really looked back. Or do you feel the same way? Do you feel like it was a relatively simple race, lights the flag?
Yeah, I think it was. Well, I was lucky with with Mateus behind me. He was making quite a big gap, so I had some margin in the end. I did lose a lot of time in the end, but it was enough anyway. So yeah, my start was just insane. I don't know what I did, but I had over a second after turn 1. So yeah, it was overall just pretty good and pretty calm, I would say.
Yeah, I noticed you had an incredible start. I thought, well, you were much further ahead than the cars behind you. I didn't know if they had a bad start or you just had an absolutely incredible start, but I'm assuming it's because you had an incredible start. So what are your plans for next season? Are you staying in FS2 or are you looking either to leave or look further up the championship ladder?
Yeah, I'm definitely staying in FS2. I don't know which team yet, but I guess we'll see. It doesn't have to go now, but I'm definitely staying in another season because I think next season I could really like go for more wins and maybe go for championship. But I don't know. It's gonna be a good season. I can feel it.
Well, you heard it here first. Any FS2 prospective team owners or current team owners, Tyson Shure is available. He's a race 2 winner in the final race of the season.
Best way to end the season, I guess.
Yeah, it literally best way to end the season. You couldn't think of anything better. Amir, any questions?
You've got yourself your first race win all the way back in Silverstone in race 2, and you've done it once again here in Abu Dhabi. So you've gotten you're one of the few drivers actually that has got more than one race 2 wins here in FS2. So what's your goals heading into next season? If you've already scored your first points in your debut in 2024, and you've got your first win in 2025.
Well, I guess I would have to say a race 1 win. That's the obvious answer, I think. But yeah, starting the season, my goal was definitely to win a race, and winning 2 is just even better. So yeah, it was a really good season, and I'm gonna try to win even more races next season, and hopefully a race 1 victory as well with it.
Well, Tice, thanks for your time. We'll maybe be talking to you next year. We'll see how everything goes.
We'll see.
But until then, have a good winter break.
Thank you.
Watch along GPVWC Day. Maybe you'll be able to find yourself in one of the new teams that gets introduced to the championship. Yeah, thanks, Dice. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Well, Amir, I think that's a nice way to end it off. We've talked to the race winners, the championship contenders that want to talk to us. Amir.
There's one more person I think that did want to talk to us at the end. I think you know about Rutjarv?
I do know that he is leaving this season. We might as well give him a platform. Go ahead.
Alrighty. Hello?
Oh.
Hi.
Ah, hi.
What's happening now?
It's
Well,
fine.
you're in the broadcast room, so I wonder what's happening.
They both wanted this, so blame it on them. Kurt, looking back, Kurt, it's your I won't say retirement, but you're taken through a year-long break after GPVWC. So, how do you feel this season overall in Formula Sprint 2 has gone for you? Because you went back into your race-winning ways as well for the second half of the season as well. So there has been a lot of highs in terms of this being your final season for now.
Yeah, on highs, yeah, definitely. Maybe was it like 3 race wins or 2?
A number.
A number.
It is the stat man. Yes.
2. You got two race wins. Both of them round 2 actually. So yeah.
Round 2? What?
Yeah. I
You
think.
said you meant race 2 or? Not
Yes, I meant race 2, not round 2.
Yes, season start wasn't like the best, of course. Looking back at it, yeah, still was getting grips with the new car. Didn't understand the car fully in pre-season test for sure, but yeah, in the mid-season the pace suddenly came and I just used it. But yeah, definitely it was quite good second part of the season. Getting 2 race wins this time and multiple podiums, so yeah, overall happy.
Yeah. It's been, I think it has been like emotional when you come over for to your final races, but especially through on this, whenever you felt you made this decision through the second half of the season, if I'm right? And back then you didn't get any race wins, and you were just coming to grips with the Formula Sprint 2 car. So, did you feel this announcement give you some momentum of a push to end on a high?
Yeah, push for sure. The objective was from there on to get Exilian to top 3, which we succeeded at really nicely, which is really, well, I'm really happy for it. Most of the job did, of course, James, bringing more points than I did into the team. And yeah, me with some podiums and wins also helped quite much. So yeah, objective achieved, and yeah, I'm quite happy what I showed, but it's just unfortunate I didn't get the top 3 in drivers.
Yeah, I understand, but of course you did manage to end on a high, so I think that's all been very good. Did you have any final closing thoughts to end the season?
Yeah, I was to Vietnam and back from in race 2, so it was quite fun. Actually, yeah, I'm quite surprised I survived, because there were a lot of accidents. I saw a car flipping around, and yeah, it's going to give me some Vietnam flashbacks.
I understand, but it was great having you though, Kurt, and well, I think we're all going to miss you upon your departure, not just in driving, but also in commentary too. So we hope to see you back at some point in the future.
Yeah, hope to be back.
Yuho, over to you. It's been a very hectic both races, both in the lower midfield. You're in a tense battle for P16 in the end, but I think you had a bit of a drift coming over through turn 9 and a bit of a collision that kind of ruined your momentum a little bit. How did that race for you pan out for this hecticness that we witnessed?
It was a bit of a mess, to be fair. And this race hasn't been the way. The season has gone a bit up.
Had some fun though.
I had some fun, of course. We've kept saying a lot of about the power of Sisu, but also the thing is, it has been a season full of ups and downs, to be fair. And to be fair, I want to improve most of the performances also next season. This season has been pretty much fulfilled with my injuries as well. Now I have a dislocated kneecap, but I still raced. I still braked, don't worry. I still know how to brake. But I mean, the surgery helped me, at least. But it's been a overall, what can I say, a bit of an abysmal season, but there's been ups as well, getting points, and well, today I didn't get points, and I want to reflect on that and come back stronger next year, and see what I can do also. But overall, I want to say a big thanks to Craig as well for giving me an opportunity, but also going back to the past in FS1, I want to thank David Wasserman for most of the things when I was back in 01, and of course it helped me to learn most of the characteristics. And also, I want to say thank you, Kurt, for everything. I will buy you a champagne, of course, a bottle of champagne. And I wanna say also, Tommaso, if you're watching this, get well soon, buddy. And yeah, it's been a up and down season.
A mention from my end, reflecting on these 5 years back. Basically, 5 years ago, I was in the nowhere, starting really small, having just a Logitech and a play seat, a pole between my legs. Yeah, it's definitely big thanks to my dad who made this possible in the first place. And yeah, it hasn't been a really easy journey, but yeah, it's nice to see that we made it this far. So thanks to him.
Big thanks for your time, gentlemen, and hope you enjoy for the rest of your end of season celebrations. And we'll see you soon next season, and Kurt will see you soon in the near future.
And in Liverpool.
We will see you in Liverpool, Amir.
All right, thanks for commentating, Amir, and see you next season as well, or possibly in the next few races, if there's anything.
Will do. See us.
Yep.
See us.
See you in some time.
Well,
all right. That's thanks very much for that time, Alex. But that has been it for Formula Sprint 2. Any closing thoughts?
Well, we need to do our ending spiel. However, it has been a labor of love. FS2 has been a labor of love for both me and Toby. I don't know if he's publicly said anything, but I don't know quite yet if we are confirmed to be doing FS2 next season. It's possible that we won't be. It's been an up and down season, the whole season. Been good rounds, bad rounds, a lot of in between. So, of course, thank you to everyone involved in FS2, but it's possible that we won't be commentating next season. Me and Toby, we will potentially be moving to another series. I don't think we've said that publicly, but I will go ahead and say it while I've got a bit of airtime. But nonetheless, do remember, on Thursday we have FS1 Formula Sprint 1. Monday, I don't think... We don't have an Academy race, so...
Academy, we've concluded already into Lagos, yeah.
Yep. Next Tuesday, we have Super Lights, and then, of course, on Thursday, the grand finale of GPVWC until we get to the Race of Champions. And, of course, GPVWC Day, we have Super Lights. Make sure to catch that. Make sure to catch the action in a very exciting season finale for all of them, if this one is anything to go by. But for me this year, I'd like to thank you all very much as an audience for watching FS2. And I will see you next year in whatever series I may commentate. Amir, any closing thoughts?
I mean, it's been my first year commentating GPVWC, so I've been very fortunate to have the chances that I have been able to commentate through on many series. And honestly, Formula Sprint 2 is definitely amongst one of those. I think regardless for the ups and downs that the season did bring, I think it was fantastic to just commentate through what has been pretty interesting and exciting action throughout the season. Massive thanks over for you for being a fantastic co-commenter today, and also for Toby as well for the chances that I've had. You two have both been, in my opinion, really fantastic commentators throughout the season, and you both delivered on for your magic. Fabian, also to you as well, and for the Remco for the days that he held sometimes. Big thanks to you both as well for the broadcast directing throughout the years. Really couldn't have done without you. And also big thanks as well to the management team and the discipline committee as well behind the scenes in GPVWC that really did help with this racing in FS2. But until then, you've all mentioned for the dates on when to catch us for the rest of the remaining regular GPVWC season action. That has been us here at Yes Marina in Abu Dhabi. For FS2, we will continue on back for 2026, heading into next season as we await for the first race, which I believe will be Bahrain. But until then,
Goodbye. Thanks for watching.